the transition is a weird one. Trump's superstitious, so he didn't really gear it up. There's been reporting that maybe he's not going to use the FBI for background checks. There'll be the question of his sentencing and whether Hunter, and there'll be a pardon deal. A conversation I think is going to heat up, a deal with Governor Hochul, Governor Kemp, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump. I'm predicting that's going to happen, where they pardon Hunter and they pardon Donald Trump. What else, Sean, would you tell people to look for during the transition out of the ordinary?
How much time do you have?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've been up way too long already.
It doesn't have to be a comprehensive list.
No, I think it's a really good question. I mean, I don't know in Donald Trump world, what's out of the ordinary. I don't think, right. I think the ordinary is the out of ordinary.
So in 2016 and 2017, Donald Trump talked to a lot of foreign leaders, and he basically started conducting foreign policy, which it's one of these double standard things. Every president does that, but when Republicans do it, when Trump does it, whatever. But I think he'll start trying to settle the Israel situation and the Ukraine situation during the transition. Yeah, even though we're supposed to only have one president at a time, he'll say, we do only have one president at a time. It's me.
Yep. No, I think you're right. I mean, he's going to start to get involved in situations. So I think that's interesting. I think the jockeying for positions, and I say this because I can't, and I apologize, I can't remember if it was you that asked me. I've spent most of the morning on European and overseas media. But what type of people does he bring in for some of these key positions? There's obviously a lot of people who have asked me who I think he's going to bring in for press secretary. We can discuss that later. There's some other names that are floated, but I think that there are the America First types that aren't as, that served last time that I think could come back that might be reassuring to a lot of folks. I think depending on the House, the really interesting thing about this is how the House goes actually may make a difference as to who some of the appointments are. If Hakeem Jeffries ends up being the speaker, that gives them a lot more latitude to maybe pick some of these Republican House members. If you've got a 2 or 3 seat majority, you're not going to give that up to pick somebody to serve either as an ambassador or a sub-cabinet position. So I think some of these appointments may be important, who they pick. And then, and even in the Senate, I think you may see some folks now that you've got, potentially enough senators that you don't just have to worry about Murkowski and Collins. So if you've crossed that 52 threshold, then you can jam through these nominations a lot quicker. So, I think the personnel thing is going to be a real signal, a dog whistle as to where you think things are going to go.
Okay,
Mark, I'll be curious if to you said it just a second ago, if Trump basically is the president from now till January 20th, because one of the things too is Joe Biden has gotten less and less and less and less public facing. I mean, he was already the least public facing president in the modern era. And if he is out in front a lot less, Harris kind of just, goes on vacation and licks her wounds. Does Trump essentially stand forward and start talking about spending deals and like every world event, everyone just turns to him? Obama was a little stronger and was out front, at least during that transition, but it could be almost unprecedented.
Okay. All right. Welcome.